out, Curt.
Not really a headbanging song, but every now and again, why not, right?
Welcome to the Curt and Jen in the Morning podcast. Thanks for being here. We have a bunch of fun little tidbits of information to pass along to you today.
Yeah, there's some fun things, some tidbitty things, some informational things, Also, we just want to point out, first of all, thank you so much for spending time with us every day. We appreciate it every weekday. We'd like for you to like or to love or to follow or to subscribe. That would help us out immensely. So if you get a chance, just click that like button or whatever you have on whatever, platform you're watching or listening to this on.
All right, here's what's coming up today is Flirting Cheating.
Price is Right has a special show today in honor of its 10,000th episode. They're giving away something pretty cool. You can watch that. And also our question from yesterday, what's the most disastrous thing your pet has done?
What's going on with Washington's specialty license plates?
Mm-hmm.
An update on the Tooth Fairies, what she's or he is doling out these days.
Yeah. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less than last year. And also, we're going to find out right now how Jen's date night ended up last night. Here we go. Yeah. Hey, you put this story first, so that's on you.
I know. Here's the deal.
What's the deal?
So Pat and I went on an impromptu date night last night.
Nice.
Doing some remodeling and we were on a high note, like things were going smoothly. We're like, let's go celebrate. So we went out to dinner to a yummy Mexican place called Koa in Mount Vernon or Burlington. I can't remember. I get those two things confused. Those two cities.
Free plug.
And then we decided we'd go to a speakeasy.
Okay.
I know that's in Mount Vernon. I think we were in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
I can't Revival, I think, is the name of the speakeasy. Fun time, great night. Got home a little later than we really wanted to. We get home. And I'm ready for bed because we got to get up early to do the podcast.
Right.
I walk in the house. Now, let me remind you that my dog Sailor ate a crap ton of pork a couple nights ago.
That's true. Yes.
And I've been looking for making sure she's been pooping. Haven't seen poop. Well,
you saw it last night?
It was, I'm warning you now, I'm going to swear. It was an effing shit show. It was liquid poop splattered everywhere in the motorhome. It was Curt.
I love that this is the story we're opening with because this sets the tone for the show. I love it. I actually have dealt with that too, usually when the dogs were puppies. And it's, you can't really get mad at them because they had diarrhea or whatever. But yeah, it's like, I don't know if they panic or whatnot because, and this is many, many years ago, but it'd be on the walls and the floor and whatever. And
it was just a terrible way to end date night. And yeah, you can't get mad at her. It was just pee and poop everywhere, splattered on my backpack. Like it was. Seriously, took so long to clean up. I was thinking the date night was going to end a whole different way. It did not.
You're tired. You come home. You got a half hour worth of work left to take care of the poop.
A half an hour. It was more than that because it was in the vents and the when you go to the register in the motorhome, and then the motorhome has the sides pushed out. Well, the pee had dripped into the. It was just bad. And then we wake up this morning and guess what?
More.
Oh, yeah.
Poor baby.
Oh my God, Curt.
Poor baby.
I'm gagging. My boyfriend Pat goes into full firefighter mode of he's used to this kind of stuff, right? He goes into houses with all kinds of situations.
Right. He had a hazmat suit ready to go. And
he's got the gloves ready. He's got all the sprays to it was just, here's the thing. It sets the tone for our question of the day.
Oh, that's right. Our question today coming up about what's the most destructive thing or a destructive thing that your dog has done. Do you want to get more descriptive while we're at it with a few people we have left listening?
That's okay. I just have my blanket for the podcast because it's so freezing in here because the windows and the vents are open.
Okay. Even more description. Here we go. How about this? Recognize that theme, right?
Love it. I always wanted to be on The Price is Right. Never was a thing, but I always dreamed of being on The Price is Right.
Well, it's still going strong. You might get that chance yet in the future because they are having their 10,000th episode today of The Price is Right. All right. So to mark that milestone, they're giving away some big prizes. They always give away some big prizes, but occasionally you're like, whoa. So today on The Price is Right, a total of $90,000 in cash and prizes. I don't know what a usual day is.
I don't
I'm going to
either
say,
because
I don't
yeah,
know.
sometimes I mean the showcase showdowns are
Sometimes they're
valuable.
30 or whatever. Yeah. But so, in a teaser for the episode, announcer George Gray shows off a huge multi-layered cake that pays tribute to some of the show's most popular games. So I imagine the Yodeler is on there. The
Oh, for
Yodeler is,
sure. Plinko,
yeah,
for sure.
Plinko. I can't remember what the yodeling game is called. Cliffhanger, I think.
Yeah.
Watch for Drew Carey revealed over the course of the show, 75,000 people have been called to come on down.
Oh, I
And
love
contestants
it.
have walked away with more than $300 million in cash and prizes.
The
Are,
epic, iconic show.
are you going to watch that?
Probably not.
What?
I haven't. I mean, I got things to do. I just don't. I maybe if it's. I don't know. Probably not, Curt. Are you going to?
It depends if I'm awake or not.
Do you
No,
remember
that's
the
not.
Barker's Beauties?
I, I don't think they call them that anymore. Although I still wonder if it's not a bit, I don't want to say misogynistic, but sexist, I guess, that every day, every show, one of the great, no, not that, one of the models brings out the microphone and hands it to Drew.
I
That's
mean,
what
that's ridiculous.
that's what Bob Barker used to do forever, but you think, I don't know. I don't even know if they still do that. So yeah, I will watch it today. I'll let you know what's going on with The
Okay.
Price is Right. 10,000 episodes.
Curt, you're really up in the audio game. Way to go.
Well, what a lot of people may not know about our podcast is I get a kick out of finding the little bumper songs to go in between the stories. And you might notice that that was not actually Madonna's version because we're trying not to get sued, or you don't get sued. They just they'll keep track of what you're playing, and if you play something that you're not supposed to, which is pretty much everything, they will basically just blank it out, and that will be edited out of the. So we want to use the songs. We can't afford to pay the royalties, so I'll find covers. How's that? For the most part. Today, see if you remember this, Jen. It's the 10th anniversary of The Dress.
The
And to me,
movie?
I thought this happened longer ago than this.
This is the movie? Is that right?
No, it was on it was a viral thing. Remember they had the two
Oh,
dresses and they were like, is the dress gold and white or is the dress
that's
blue and
right.
black? And
That's
people
right.
would swear it turns out it was basically um what do you call it? Like a mind, our brain makes assumptions based on the info it gets. And I guess they did an optical illusion caused by weird lighting and an overexposed background. So some people's brains immediately saw the white and gold dress, and then other people saw it as blue and black. It turns out the answer is it actually is blue and black. But do you remember when that was people, you
I
call your
do.
friend over, what color
Yeah.
is this dress? And they're like blue and black. Like, no, no, it's gold and white.
That was 10 years ago.
That
Wow.
was bizarre. It went viral on Tumblr on February 26th of 2015. One of the first things that they could say broke the internet, I guess.
That was like all the rage. You
And
had
it
to
was
go look up the dress.
and it was bizarre because, I think after somebody said, no, it's blue and white, I looked at it again and it's like, oh, it is blue and white. I don't know. But there's a historical milestone along with Price is Right's 10,000th episode is 10 years for the dress, right?
This is such a good question. I think is flirting cheating? Have you had any girlfriends that were big flirters? Like there's people that I dated that were flirty.
I'll go straight to what I think the answer is for this, and I would say yes, it is cheating. If you're with somebody, some people are like, well, I'm just a flirt. It's like, well, don't. You're giving somebody the wrong idea, and maybe that person's going to act on that idea, and then you're in trouble with.
I would agree with that,
Yeah.
and we're in the majority.
Okay.
51% said that they might actually end a relationship over what some would call harmless flirting, especially if it felt like the person was trying to hide it too.
Well, there is, and this is kind of a bizarre thing. Maybe not bizarre. That's not the right word. But you do think, you as you go through your life, you're in a serious relationship, or you're married or whatever. But you meet people, and sometimes you have a real connection with them. You know what I mean? And I think that would be that you took those vows and you take them very seriously. But I could also see how, I mean, if you're on the same wavelength with somebody else, and again, I would say that it is cheating if you're doing it, but I could also see how that might be easy to happen.
So there was this poll done, of course, right?
Hmm.
Um, of 2,000 adults, and they asked these questions about, what do you consider cheating? And so, over half of the respondents said they absolutely flirting is cheating. I would consider that cheating, and I would dump
Okay.
someone for it.
What else do you have?
60% said that chatting with an ex is over the line as well.
Hmm. It's
And then,
different if that ex is an ex spouse and you share kids. Obviously, you're going to have to maintain. You're in that position. You share kids with your ex-husband, and so obviously you're going to be chatting with those exes. But if you're keeping it secret that I'm talking with my boyfriend or girlfriend from.
I think if you're keeping it secret for sure, but if it's not secret and you've remained friends, you've been able to remain friends with that person.
Mhm.
I'm not so sure that about that.
I do have friends that I'm still friends with that I have dated in the past, and my wife Dana is fine with that. In fact, she's friends with them.
Yeah, and I think that you've got to bring the other person into those conversations so that they
Right.
feel comfortable with it, and make sure you're doing all the right things for your relationship to, you
Right.
know, help with the whole security and all that.
Well, we all have our pasts, and just because a person is an ex doesn't mean that the relationship ended because they were a bad person or whatever. It's like, okay, sometimes things fizzle out and you may remain friends and then you move on to the next relationship. But I also understand how it's hard. It's difficult to, you know, I've also, just so you know, I've also dated people that did not like the fact that I was still friends with some exes, and those didn't work out very well. It's a good thing I found Dana. I was pretty rudderless.
Here's a couple more that I found interesting. 23% said the same about finding out if their partner had been watching porn.
Mm,
Reading porn, though, is apparently more okay. You can read it, don't watch it. And then almost 8 and 10 said books like, they call them erotica books, like 50 Shades of Grey, are
sure.
fine. Fine. Read them.
Okay.
Read them if you want. And then 66% said they wouldn't care if they found out if you danced with someone else. How do you feel about that one?
I just think that's weird. I mean, I
I don't like
barely
it.
I barely danced with there are very few opportunities to come up with dance with my wife. So if I dance with somebody else, I think she would have an issue. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I would also say that that's too um I don't know. That's heading down a romantic pathway.
What about letting, like, if Dana let someone buy her a drink, another guy buy her a drink? What about that?
I think that I would have an issue with that as well. I did because I don't trust the other people, you know.
Yeah,
I trust her, but there are people out there that are like, I'm gonna get that girl.
yeah.
I
Well,
don't like it.
most people said that someone buying you a drink isn't a big deal either.
I suppose if she's out with her friends for a girls' night and they buy a round of drinks for the table, but I still think that there might be some
Ulterior
seedy.
motives.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, so we're in agreement that the original question is flirting cheating? Probably,
Yeah.
probably is.
I got my driver's license last week, just like
Get
we
dinged.
always
We're gonna get
talked
dinged for
about. 'Cause
Not
you
Olivia
were
Rodrigo, by the
so
way.
excited for me
Somebody just
to
posted this
finally drive
on the old
up
internet.
to your
Did a nice
house.
job on it,
Today I drove through the
but
city.
not Olivia Rodrigo. Anyone who's
Okay.
listening from
Driver's
the
license
FCC or
song.
whatever. Washington State says the state of Washington may pause creation of specialized license plates, which you all think are cool. And they're not talking about the vanity plates where you put, whatever, Seahawks on that or something like that. They're talking about the commemorative license plates, like I've got one that says Music Matters on the back of my van, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you see them all the time
Yep.
maybe they're for your sports teams or whatever. So there were 10 new commemorative license plates that had been proposed to be released this year.
Yeah.
And House Bill 1952 came along and would establish a task force to re-examine the qualification process for new plates. And the bill would prohibit the creation of any new specialty plates for 4 years.
Why?
Well, and this is according to Brandy Donahue, which is the representative Brandy Donahue. Special license plates are cool, but they're less cool when we realize the state can lose money on them, and we need to be very careful with our budget, especially now. True. I guess I didn't think about the fact that you can put up a specialty license plate and maybe nobody buys them. You've created a bunch of these things. So we will see. But just so you know, for this year, the proposed 10 license plates, the specialized plates, I think some of these would be fun. They were trying to get one for pollinators. That to me is boring.
I like the next one.
Pickleball. You could have personal license plate for pickleball or working forest or Smoky Bear, right? They were proposing specialized license plates for Mount St. Helens, Nautical Northwest, the Naval Academy. I'm surprised they don't already have one. The Firefighter Memorial.
I thought that there was already a firefighter license plate.
There is a firefighter plate. I guess this is different as the Firefighter Memorial. You could ask your boyfriend about that.
I will.
And a couple more. Keep Washington Evergreen and the LeMay America's Car Museum. Have you been to the LeMay Museum in Tacoma?
Nope.
It's pretty cool, but I don't know if it deserves its own license plate. So if you're hoping to get any of those license plates there, what did it say? 4 years?
4 years. You might have to wait 4 years before it to come true.
You may have to wait 4 years for that, but yeah. But if it happens, I think that I would get the pickleball one.
I would too. I cannot believe there's already 50 plates.
Yeah. Yep. There's a bunch. But I wonder who but see, the money always goes to a cause, right?
Yeah.
It might go to the Firefighter Foundation or whatever. So what's the money going to go for the pickleball plate?
The Pickleball Foundation?
You're just making things up now.
No,
I think the dogs out. Let the dogs out.
That'd be from Kids Bop, by the way.
Oh my God.
Trying to skirt the rules. All right. Our question of the day for today, from yesterday rather, was what's the most disastrous thing your pet has done? Maybe the naughtiest thing they've done that ended up ruining an occasion. I know you shared what happened with Sailor. We know it was an accident. That was pretty bad. I think I shared with you that I'm trying to think of because there's been a number of incidents, right, over the years that your dogs
so many. I mean, Sailor started with, it wasn't last night last night kind of ruined the vibe for sure. But it started with her 2 nights ago eating our dinner, the whole container of smoked pulled pork.
I don't know if I should admit this or not because this happened. We had a friend. This is when I was in Detroit, and I had 2 dogs, Boz and Rena, and we were out of town. My then girlfriend and I had left town for a week, and we left them with our friend that wasn't really working at the time, and was like, oh, I don't got anything else to do. I'll watch the dogs for a week. Evidently, while we were gone, one or both of the dogs got into a 1/4 ounce bag of weed. My girlfriend was pissed. I thought it was kind of funny, but
What happened to the dogs?
Evidently they just sort of laid around and looked, pretty content.
Oh my God.
So I
have the munchies. Did they want some Doritos after?
Exactly. Where are the Funyuns at, man?
Some Twinkies?
But they apparently, so I don't know how expensive that was,
Wow.
but I wanted to share that story. So, okay, here we go. Most disastrous thing your pet has done, according to Jackie. When my dog was a puppy, he chewed up my new pair of glasses. And while I was in the shower, I had to pay for a replacement pair out of pocket. They were anti-reflection, anti-scratch, and dark in the sunlight. In addition to 3 levels of vision in each lens. That was expensive. You know what? Actually, my friend Holly, when I was out here, was watching the dogs one time and had a pair of glasses eaten.
Your dogs ate her glasses?
I guess they just sort of smell like the person and like, oh, I'm going to munch these down. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Danielle said my friend's dog was tied to the table outside Starbucks and got spooked and ran between cars in the parking lot with the table attached to him, causing a lot of damage to one car. It was awful, but so funny now. Oh my gosh.
And of course, I always feel bad for the dogs in these stories. Our friend Anna, the dog whisperer, that's not what she calls herself. She's Paws with No Flaws, the trainer. She says, I have to follow this. Like she's going to get some stories that she wants. So she's paying attention. Hi, Anna.
If you, can we just tell people, both of us have used Anna. She is awesome.
Phenomenal.
Well, you don't get to be help with your dog.
You don't get to be King 5 Dog Trainer of the Year for 5 years running if you're not very good at what you do.
Yeah, she's awesome. Okay.
Paws with No Flaws. Okay, Andrea, my lab rolled in human
poop
excrement during what was supposed to be a fun fishing and hiking trip. Ended up a disgusting dog to ride home with.
How did the dog end up rolling in human poo?
Don't ask.
Kate said, well, if you asked my daughter, it would be the Great Barbie Massacre of 2019. We returned home to a house full of dismembered and headless victims.
Poor
I
Barbies.
have photos of it somewhere, and I found hands days later in the poop.
I forgot about that. Sometimes you have to start going through their their daily, you're like, oh, okay, I got to find the marble. Or I believe I had a dog that ate a Matchbox car one time.
Oh
It's a
my.
big dog, but yeah. Here's another Jackie. Some would call this a marital aid, but to me, it was an essential source of escape in my life as a single mom. I came home one day to a shredded lavender silicone strewn about the hallway, and my beloved device, it had literally been chewed like a bone. Lavender silicone, what's that?
A vibrator.
That was the angriest I ever got towards the goofy dog.
Those aren't cheap.
Okay, I believe you. I learned something. Got a
Oh
couple
my.
more here. Corey, my little 10-pound dachshund, chewed through a linoleum floor and sheetrock with exposed wires. The same doxy chewed a big hole in the head of my son's favorite Woody doll. Oh.
My God. Okay, Nancy said our rescue dog was initially scared to death of everyone and everything. The first time we left him alone, he put deep scratches in the door, tore off the door molding trim, and chewed part of the door frame. And all of that in an hour. He quickly adjusted soon after that and as sweet as can be now.
Wow. And you know what? Sometimes that's when dogs are frightened of things. Like unfortunately, my parents had a dog named Rusty, and they live in Florida, which of course is like the lightning and thunderstorm capital of the world. The thunderstorms would come, and the dog would like completely freak, and would they put it in. They decided finally they had to crate the dog because he was chewing up, like they'd say the flooring. He was trying to through the drywall or whatever. So they had to crate it, and then he would try so hard to get out of the crate. He was tearing up his paws and stuff like that. So you feel bad.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do about it except, I guess, not have a dog where there's a lot of thunderstorms. So anyway, love those that you shared, and if you think of any more, please let us know. We're always happy to hear those stories.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things
You can see Jen's eye rolls with each of
Is
these
it
little.
Bruno Mars?
No.
I wanna be on the cover of
Again, some kid in Texas put this up on the. Whoops. We'll use that later. I already
Okay,
used that one.
here's the thing. We're going to talk about
You want to share the story?
Taylor Swift. Here we go. No matter what you say about her, you can say that she's ruined the NFL. But according to a marketing company, Apex Marketing, they said that the value of publicity that Taylor Swift has brought to the NFL is over $1 billion.
Wow.
You can't, I mean, here's the thing. You I guess you could buy it, but the publicity that she's given to that league.
We need her to dump the football guy and start dating a Kraken player.
Or how about she starts promoting the Curt and Jenna in the Morning podcast?
Yeah, she can't date either of us. But hey, Taylor, if you're listening.
I thought that's where you were going with it. Like, we need her to, boost our stuff.
No, I'm like, get rid of Travis Kelce and start dating, Brandon Tanev or something. So, yeah, it was, if you wanted to go buy media or product to get this kind of publicity, it would cost you an absolute fortune, obviously. So they're saying even when Taylor was booed at the Super Bowl, remember that? Yeah. It was good for business. Quote, it became a discussion that kept the conversation going. And I guess this comes back to the old, any publicity is good publicity that they say, right?
I hate that they booed Taylor Swift, by the way. That's a whole separate conversation that I just don't even get that. That's ridiculous.
And rude and unnecessary. I agree.
Yeah, it's just not kind. They're saying that they're thinking that the gravy train, so to speak, might keep rolling into 2025 because the GM of the Kansas City Chiefs thinks that Travis Kelce will play again next season. I didn't even hear that he might be retiring at all.
Well, and again, when I see that kind of stuff, I wonder how much of it is just to drum up publicity. It's like, is Travis going to be back next year? Is he going to retire? I don't know. Maybe he's going to go. He has enough money, obviously, and his girlfriend has enough money.
I think that they're pretty okay for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
but if he loves to play and he's still good, why not? Right.
Right. He does love to play. Fortunately, unlike the rest of us, he doesn't have to go, gee, how am I going to pay my mortgage next year then?
The league is praying that they don't break up because they want to keep that publicity going.
She is really good for the league. Nice going, Taylor. Yeah.
I love to see you smile.
Actually is Randy Newman.
You've really outdone yourself here, Curt. Is this like free? You can use this for free. Is this on the free music thing? Oh, we're getting this podcast is getting.
We're gonna get popped, I'm sure.
We're getting
challenging it. I just love Randy Newman. Prior to all the stuff he did for the movies and Disney and stuff like that, he's really good. Anyway, why do we play I Love to See You Smile? Tooth Fairy. And we have a Tooth Fairy story here.
Hey, are you going to tell it?
Well, let me just start by saying when you were losing teeth many, many moons ago, right? Well, not that many. I'm sorry. Not that many moons ago.
Right.
When
Thank you.
When you were losing teeth, what do you think you got when, the Tooth Fairy would come by? How much would be left under your pillow, give or take?
I want to say like anywhere from like 25 cents to $1.
I was going to say that too. My Tooth Fairy never brought me money that folded. It jingled, but it was coins. Okay. So Friday, this is to give that Tooth Fairy a heads up, a couple days. Friday is National Tooth Fairy Day and is that dental dentals? That's can't be called dental dentals. Maybe it's Delta Dental. Yeah. Their annual poll for Tooth Fairy Day found the average payout per tooth fell this year. It fell 14% from last year. It is all the way down to, for the average tooth, the Tooth Fairy is down to $5.01.
I mean, who's going to leave $5.01? What
the Tooth Fairy?
What fairy would do that?
Well, apparently it's down from $5.84 a year ago. And I guess it's also based on the tooth, because like it says here, the first tooth it's lost is worth a little bit more at $6.24. But that even dropped to 12% from $7.09. So at one point, your first tooth, the Tooth Fairy give you a little over $7 for, I understand.
The Tooth Fairy in our household when I was married brought that average up.
Let me see. So
our Tooth Fairy must have been real rich.
How many tooth do they lose all of their teeth? Their baby teeth? Do they all get lost or just some of them?
No, all of them.
Okay, that could get kind of spendy after all of them are gone.
Yeah.
I know that was a silly question. Not having kids, I was like, okay, all I ever see is like one of these little things, a bicuspid or something. But all right, so keep that in mind, Tooth Fairies. It's coming up, and you need to cough up at least $5.01. But you should be happy because that's less than last year. Tooth Fairies.
You didn't have any special music for this?
I couldn't find any Eggplant music. I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't even know why this story is in here.
It could have been the brown chicken, brown cow because of the way they did this. This is hilarious to me, by the way.
Okay, so, let me hear it.
The food website, The Takeout, posted some advice on how to choose the perfect eggplant. And Curt, I know you didn't know this. You learned this recently, that the eggplant emoji it symbolizes.
That has nothing to do with the story.
Yes, it does.
Okay, go.
Because the way that they worded everything about how to pick out the perfect eggplant, which starts with size matters. You don't want it to be too big. Larger, more mature eggplants tend to be more bitter. So don't avoid one just because it's undersized. Number 2, squeeze it. You don't want a really soft one. If it's soft and squishy, don't even bother. But if it's too hard, it isn't good either. You want it firm, but not rock hard.
All these puns, I'm going to let you keep going with this. I'm sure you have more.
Okay. The next one is looks are important. Not all eggplants look alike. Ideally, they say the skin should always be taut and shiny, free of wrinkles, bruises, or scars. Number 4, branch out. Don't settle for the same type of eggplant all the time. You might see big, fat, purple ones a lot, but 3 others are common too, which include, by the way, the Italian eggplant, the Asian eggplant, which tend to be a little thinner, and you can even find white ones the size of your thumb, which again, refer to number 1, size matters.
Well, the number 5 flies in the face of number 1, where it says it's all about how you use it. It's not the size, it's how you use it. Different varieties of eggplants are better for different things. Feel free to experiment and figure out what works best for you.
There you go. How to pick out the perfect eggplant. You're welcome.
I didn't thank you for that, but okay. That was fun though, actually.
Okay, do you have some music for me?
Sure.
Okay. I put this in there because 'tis the season of like having dry lips from the cold weather and stuff. Does lip balm really work? And there was this article done by a bunch of dermatologists saying, does lip balm work and how to soothe chapped lips? So a tube of lip balm can seem like the perfect way to get like solve dry cracked lips.
Right. That's what I would reach for if I had dry lips. I was like, I'm going to get some lip balm.
So what they say is that it can seal in moisture. You know what I mean? Like it can be a barrier to like the wind and the cold, which causes the cracked lips. So it can work, but you need to be careful about it because you can be your lips can be allergic to like some of the fragrances and some of the flavors and preservatives that are found in the perfect lip balms, which can sting instead of soothe. So they say there's some ingredients to look out for that you don't want in there, like additives and lanolin, substances that come from lanolin is a waxy substance that comes from sheep. You don't want formaldehyde in yours. I'm like, of course you don't. What?
That sounds bad.
So dermatologists recommend a fragrance-free petroleum-based balm. That's the safest for sensitive lips. And then there's other ways to soothe dry lips without the balm. Like you can cover them with a scarf when you're going outside, run a humidifier when you're indoors to put more moisture in the air, and drink more water because dehydration could cause the cracky lips too. And then avoid licking your lips. It actually ends up sucking the moisture out of your lips and drying them up even more. It's a short-term relief, but it does way more damage after after that short-term relief. So if you want to get through the winter with soft, supple lips, do these things.
Nice.
Or don't don't lick.
Do you have a single favorite brand of lip balm? We do in this household that we only use.
Well, I know that Pat uses Burt's Bees.
Burt's Bees, that's what we use too.
But my friend Mariana, she gives us these lip balms all the time, and they're really great. And I think that they're all natural stuff, and I don't remember the name of it. She orders them from someplace.
Cool.
I don't have the name. Anyway. We should have done our eggplant story last and led into this.
That's true. That's all right. It still works out. We are at our point in the show, our question of the day for tomorrow. You've got about 24 hours to think about this and get back to us on it. And I think this is particularly today, or these days rather, when money is tight and grocery items are a little more expensive. The question is, what is a grocery item you will never compromise on no matter how expensive it gets? Do you have one?
I don't have one offhand. I've got to think about that. I'll have one tomorrow. Do you have one?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, I know that some people are like, and it may be that I'm a Coca-Cola person. I don't drink Pepsi or whatever. It might be a preferential thing, but yeah, there's some things that are important enough to people that like, I don't care how expensive this gets. We are getting this, or maybe not even a brand. Maybe it is I love strawberries. And so even they get to be $20 a pound, I'm going to keep buying them. I don't know.
I mean, I know this question is spawned from the whole egg price, but I would say eggs. Like I love eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I have them almost every morning, and so even though they're expensive, I'm going to keep buying them.
I imagine Dana also has a lot more. I'm much more easygoing. It's like, what's on sale? Okay, I'll get that cereal. Or what's on, because but yeah. So let us know that
Dana and our friend Lori have taught us how to be pickier about our foods. That's for sure.
And yet I still eat Fruit Loops.
She lets you eat Fruit Loops?
Oh no, it's only when she doesn't notice.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being part of our show today. We love that you are listening. We hope that you have an awesome Tuesday.
Awesome Tuesday.
Yeah. Making choices, find joy, spread kindness, and be sure to get that laughter in.